Hello and welcome to Golf News Kicking Back. There has been a huge surprise as tournament favourites Brazil have been knocked out of the World Cup by Croatia. The match went to penalties. After 90 minutes, it was 0-0. Brazil took the lead in extra time through Neymar. Croatia came back to get a surprising equaliser. Their game plan worked. It was always to take Brazil to penalties. They clearly didn't fancy their chances in the 120 minutes. They never really engaged them into a football match because they knew they would be beaten. So they did exactly as we thought they would do, which is keep it very, very tight and take it all the way. And Sham, we've had a huge shock. What do you think of tonight's result?
It is perhaps the biggest shock. I mean, this tournament has been full of shock, and here comes one of the biggest, by the tournament favorites crashing out of the tournament in the quarterfinals. But again, this is Brazil's Nemesis or hoodoo. Really, the quarterfinals have always been a stumbling block for them, and this team will again go down as one of the best Brazilian teams never to have won the World Cup. The last time when Zico Socrates headed one of the best teams in Brazil's history, they didn't win it in 1982, and I think this could go alongside them as one of the best teams never to have won the cup.
Yeah, Satish, look, this is the fourth time now since Brazil last won it that they've gone out in the quarterfinal stage. Is it a mental block? Is it something that they just can't get through? I mean, what do you think of this? First of all, tell me how shocked you are, or are you shocked at all? Did you think Croatia deserved to go through?
I think one man deserves the credit, Dominik Livakovic.
These guys came
and they kept throwing, they kept hitting the goals, and he kept stopping them. So I think that put more pressure on Brazil to get something extra, and still they were not able to get it. And that exactly, as you said, it followed that pattern. Croatia were very happy to take the game to the penalties, and the more and more he saved, the more and more confidence Croatia got to go to the penalties, because obviously they must be banking on him to save them and take them to the next stage. But in a way, I feel sad for Brazil, because they played a brilliant game all along. The most of the match they were there in this half of Croatia, but only one goal chance Croatia got it, and they made it count. That's what is all about, taking chances and making it count. And all credit to Croatia for doing that, Imran.
Yeah, the keeper you mentioned, Stitch, was superb. He made 11 saves today. He kept Croatia in this game. I don't think had he not been in goal, we could have been seeing a very different result. But Sham, just going back to what we've just seen, do you think now we may see a team win the tournament that grinds out results rather than a team with, flamboyance and skills like Brazil have? I mean, everybody expected Brazil to go through at least to the finals, but they've been beaten by a team which did the exact same thing against Japan, grind it out, not really play very well at all. If play well, they didn't actually do anything, to be honest. They were very defense oriented. That was clearly the mindset from the coach, keep it very, very tight and take the game to penalties. And then credit to them. Those were 4 very good penalties. Whereas Brazil's unfortunate, Rodrigo's first one and Marquinhos, the fourth one, were pretty bad. But the question is, Sham, do you think a team is going to grind their way to the final?
It's entirely possible they could grind their way, but I hope it doesn't happen. It's not good for football. But it's happened in the past. If you look at 1990, that is when Argentina were defending their 86 title, the Maradona's team was not the same. In fact, they were so bad, and they had to rely on penalties to reach the final. And it was their third choice goalkeeper, because the original goalkeeper was injured, and the other guy also was injured. So the third goalkeeper, Goicoechea, was very good at penalties, and he took them through from quarterfinals to the finals. But in the finals, ironically, they lost by 1 goal, and that goal was scored by penalty, Andreas Brehme. So this has happened in the past, but I hope it doesn't happen here, simply because it would be a shame, and we have some real good sides who are playing some real good football. But this is Croatia. This is how they play. If you look at it, throughout this tournament, they had only one match in 90 minutes. So a team which does that, I am certainly not in favor of such a team winning the tournament. I mean, I know this has happened in the past. Remember Greece winning the Euro Championships. They did it exactly the same way. But it's entirely possible a team could win, but that would be a shame if a team like that wins.
But at least, Sham, with that team with Greece, they at least got into the lead. Karastes was their famous striker at the time. He kept scoring the goals. They won a few games 1-0. But this Croatia team just doesn't even want to go into the box. They're so negative to it. And like you've just said, I feel the same way. It would have been much nicer had we had Brazil go through just to keep the tournament being the spectacle that it's been. Because honestly, that 120 minutes from Croatia, it was boring. It was the most negative football. It was dire. It was dull to watch. Brazil were the only team trying, to get through. And Satish, when they actually did make the breakthrough, it looked like it was going to be enough. It was a fantastic goal from Neymar. He picked up the ball on the edge of the box, played a lovely 1-2, and he managed to get through a very busy box to get onto the end of that onto that pass. He still had the presence of mind to round the keeper and then also to hit onto the roof of the net. Most players would have just probably tried to roll it in, after doing all the hard work. But then the Croatian defender was on line. So credit to Neymar for doing that. But then why didn't Neymar step up to take a penalty? This is going to be probably the biggest question of all after this World Cup. He's their best player. And I think clearly it looked like he was waiting to take the 5th penalty, just to be the hero again, to be the star man, to say he's taken the team through. But surely your best players have to step up in the first 3 penalties to give your team a chance. So just what do you feel about Neymar's contribution today, being the hero, and then almost kind of, you can say he's been the villain because he's let the team down by not stepping up?
Imran, you can look at it in both ways. In the past, the best players always failed in their penalties as well. So maybe Brazil didn't want to take the chance. It's happened in the past. So you can look at it in both ways. So I think, see, once it came to penalties, there was no doubt it was going to be Croatia. So I don't think it would have mattered whether Neymar took the first one or the last one. Because the Croatian goalkeeper, Dominik, was absolutely, you cannot take anything past him. Even the goal, it was such a brilliant one by Neymar. Otherwise, he would have probably stopped that as well. So he was unstoppable today. Like, rather, he was stopping everything. They couldn't reach the difference at all. So I think I'm not getting into the technicalities of who should have taken, but the moment it went to penalties, I think Brazil were certainly on the back foot because, if you look at Croatia, they made their plans ready and they were hitting the left side almost towards the edge of the goalpost, giving the goalkeeper no chance. Whereas Brazil didn't do any of this. Again, they were flamboyant and they just went with their gut feeling.
Sham, Satish makes a good point there, but still, we're talking about Brazil's talisman here. This is Neymar. He's the biggest star in world football right now. And at the crucial time in the quarterfinals of the World Cup where his team needs him, he's failed to show up. He's waited for the other guys to take the penalties. And I think he just wanted, to be the main man again. And he would have already been that because he pulled the team in injury time, in extra time, by getting them in front and by scoring that goal, equaling Pele's international goals record as well. So he's done all that tonight. But then, step up. You've got to step up, take a penalty. Your team needs you. You're the best player on the pitch. They put on Rodrigo, who's a substitute, and he'd come on. He'd only played for, I think, half an hour. Wasn't even in the game, hardly touched the ball. Yeah, he put the first penalty down, and it was the most awful penalty. The way he ran up to the ball, he opened himself up. The keeper knew exactly where he was going to put it, and it was an atrocious penalty. And I come back to the point where Neymar, I believe, has really let the team down. What do you think about Neymar tonight, Sham?
I'm with you on this. I think Neymar let the team down badly because, see, when it comes to the penalties, like Satish said, Croatia, they are very good at this. They've been there and they've done this numerous times, and we have seen it against Japan as well. But when you know the odds, then you expect your best man to set you rolling. So I would have expected Neymar to start with the first penalty. So showing the way for the rest of the guys to say, okay, this is the way to go. But if you're the last man, this is, there's every possibility that you might not be even called to take a penalty, which happened today. So if Neymar is very good at taking penalties, and he was not even required to do it because his team lost. So if your team is lost, what's the point in keeping your best man at the back? So I think, like you said, I think Neymar wants to be the hero. He wants to be the man who saved Brazil. But unfortunately, he turned out to be the villain today. Although he provided the best and the most only brilliant moment in this match was provided by him. but I think he also provided at the worst moment as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be questions asked when it's all settles down, when the dust settles, so to speak. Why didn't he step up at the most crucial point in the team's tournament? But whether he has an explanation for that, I guess we'll know. But just a quick word, Sham, about Brazil's centre-back, Marquinhos, who's had a superb tournament. He's been one of their best players. But the poor guy, unfortunately, today, when Croatia got the equaliser, it came off his knee. It took a huge deflection, and poor Alisson Becker in goal. He just couldn't make it to make that save. And then poor guy, he comes up and takes the fourth penalty. He struck it well. He sent the keeper the wrong way, but it hit the post. How will he be feeling tonight, Sham?
Oh boy, he must be feeling like the villain. I'm sure he must be really mopping. Simply because actually he had a very good tournament, and he had a very good match today until those two bloopers, really. I mean, if it was not for deflection, Alisson Becker had it covered, really. So actually that actually got Becker napping. Otherwise, he would have been straight into him. No, on top of it, he went and banked the upright this penalty. So a double blow, real double whammy for him and Brazil for that matter. So I think he would think that he is the villain, and I think he would take it really, really hard. But I think he needs to get over it because he's such a good player.
And Satish, look, Croatia, they've done it again. They've reached the semi-final at the last World Cup. They got to the final. Now, depending on who wins tonight, we're going to see later on who they'll face. It'll be Netherlands or Argentina who faces them in the semi-finals. But the way they're playing, it's not great, but they're getting the results. They're taking these games to penalty shootouts, and they, like you said, fantastic at their penalties. So how far do you think they could go this time? Finals again?
Maybe semis. I think their luck will run out because obviously the goalkeeper Dominik is also a human being, so you can't keep relying on him always to go to the penalty. I think, but they have done it. From what I've seen, it's 8 of the last 10 penalties they were successful, and 5 of the last 6 penalties. I think so. I think they are relying too much on one aspect of their game. I think sometime it has to give in. So that's the luck would run out somewhere, and I'm sure possibly in semifinals.
Okay, we'll see. Now tomorrow, obviously, there are 2 more huge quarterfinals to come. The dark horses, Morocco, who have made it all the way to the last 8, are taking on Portugal. Sham, how do you feel about that game tomorrow?
Portugal is going to do exactly what Croatia today. Morocco is going to do exactly what Croatia did today. But I think again, it might, if it goes down to penalties, it's going to be Morocco's game. But I think Portugal has enough quality of them to at least to eke out a one goal victory. Because if you look at the last match, they were all over. So they have enough quality there, but we said the same thing about Brazil also. So it's a tough call. I would expect Portugal to go through, but again, you can never count Morocco out.
I think just the way the 2 teams are playing right now, Sham, I would put, if I was a betting man, I would say Morocco to snatch it 1-0 instead of Portugal. And Satish, the other one, France against England. Now, as we said before, the way these 2 teams are playing, this should really be the final. They're both in top form right now, scoring loads of goals, playing really well. They've got players that can win this match, with moments of brilliance. But who do you feel is going to get through tomorrow? France, the champions, or England?
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be telling the one which you are going to like it, but I think France will go through. That's my prediction because, of course, it's a cracker of a game. You have probably the best 2 strikers, Mbappe, Kane against each other, but I would still feel France have the momentum. And it is unfortunately, if it was something like Croatia or somebody who would depend on their defense, then maybe I could give the other team. But here, I think more or less both teams play the same kind of game. So I would go with France. And
all right,
I think Southgate has said that he's not going to take the foot off the pedal. He's going to go and attack because they have been scoring a lot of goals. So I think it will be a good game, both trying to score goals. And probably that's where I think France will get that advantage.
I think the team selection will play a big part. If he plays the right team and Foden in the right position, at least England will be at their full strength. But yes, like you say, France is also very, very strong. We've seen a huge upset tonight, guys. So who knows? Tomorrow we could be seeing at least one more, maybe two more. But we'll see. That's all from us for tonight. Head to golfnews.com for all the latest news and reviews and videos. And of course, check us out on our social media channels. Thank you, Satish, and thanks, Sham.
Thank you, man.
And see you all
Thank
next
you.
time.